Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunrise on the Bay Yoga with 30A. My name is Dannica. Some of you may remember me as Danny Coyote. I did the Dock of the Bay series a couple of years ago. So this morning we're going to do a gentle sunrise vinyasa for beginners. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in a child's pose, so knees are going to be wide, toes are touching, sitting the tailbone back to the heels. Reaching the hands out in front, forehead comes to the mat. We're just going to take a few breaths here to prepare ourselves for our practice. We'll inhale, come up to the fingertips. We're going to walk the hands over to the right. Lean into the left side body, dropping through the heart and the head. Inhale, we'll rise up. We're going to walk the hands over to the left this time. Squaring the shoulders off, leaning into the right side body. Try to keep the tailbone back to the heels, dropping through the heart. We'll inhale, rise up. We're going to bring it back to center. On that next inhale, we're going to send that right arm up to the sky. On the exhale, we're going to thread it underneath the left shoulder. Try to keep the shoulders square as we relax down through the heart. And continuing to breathe and find that breath. On the next inhalation, we'll rise up. We're going to cross the left arm in front of the right, crossing the heart with the biceps. And relaxing to the back of the neck. We'll release the right arm. So now the left arm is threaded underneath the right shoulder. And on the next inhalation, we'll rise up and gently cross the right arm over the left this time. We'll slowly find that release. Making our way up into our tabletop position, bringing those knees just a little bit closer underneath the hips. Fingertips are spread wide, wrist underneath the shoulders. On the inhale, we're going to drop the belly down, gaze up, shoulders away from the ears. Sorry, there's some little buggos out here. Tailbone up to the sky. On the exhale, we'll round the spine. Pull the belly button in, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest. We're taking this nice and slow, so inhale, drop the belly down, shoulders away from the ears, gaze up. Exhale, rounding the spine. This is called a cat-cow. We'll find that flow at your own pace. Feel free to roll around, wiggle around, whatever your body needs to do this morning to wake up. We're just trying to generate just a little bit of heat by waking up the body, bringing some fluidity into the spine. And we'll take a few more. So when we're rounding the spine, coming into our cat, we're really puffing up through the back of the heart and through the shoulders. We'll bring it back to a neutral position. We're going to walk the hands forward just a little bit, and we'll tuck the toes under. We're going to press up into our first down dog. We'll pedal the heels out from side to side. taking the hips from side to side. This is our first down dog of the morning, so we're probably pretty stiff. So do whatever you need to do right now to loosen up, whatever your body is feeling called to do. You can shift forward and back. You can roll around a little bit if you want to, create a little spinal wave. Or you can just keep pedaling the heels out. So from here, we're going to bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands. We can step to the top of the mat. Feet are going to be hip width this morning. Make sure the toes are forward. We'll inhale, half lift. So we come into a half lift or a flat back. We want to avoid rounding the spine like this. So we want to actually roll the pelvis forward. Imagine that the pelvis is a bowl and we're tipping the bowl out in the front. That's going to send our tailbone up and flatten the back out. You can bring your hands to the shins, hands to the thighs, or hands to the floor, whichever you prefer. Next exhale, we're going to fold all the way down. Slight bend in the knees, sweeping the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, arms all the way up. Interlacing the fingers, palms to the sky on the exhale. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Keep the belly firm. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive, flat back. Uttanasana, forward fold. Bending the knees, inhale, half lift, plant the hands. Make sure they're right underneath the shoulders. We're going to step back on that inhale for high plank. Good. Fingertips are spread wide, shoulders stacked directly over the wrist. Feet are hip width, heels over the toes. Make sure we're not dropping down through the belly, that we're pressing up, keeping the core firm. And on the exhale, we're gonna come into our chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, yogi's choice. Cobra, hips are on the floor. Slight bend in the elbows, heart forward, up dog. 2 points of contact, the palms and the tops of the feet. And the quads are lifted. Exhales, back to down dog. So this is going to be our vinyasa flow. This is going to be our home base. We're always coming back to this. So we're going to move through it a couple of times before we start adding on to it. So bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands. Step to the front, feet hip width. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, arms up. Interlace fingers, palms to the sky on the exhale. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears, firm the belly up. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Flat back. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop the tailbone, bending the knees, plant the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, step back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhales, back to down dog. Good, so now we're moving through this flow. We're generating just a little bit of heat to wake us up this morning. Bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands. Step hip width to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms to the sky. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Plant the hands. Inhale, step back, high plank. Remember, fingertips are spread wide, shoulders stacked over the wrist here. Make sure our booty's not too high. We want to try to keep everything engaged, and hips are in line with the shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, yogi's choice. Exhales, down dog. We're going to move through this one more time, and then we're going to start building onto it. Bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands. Step up hip width. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms to the sky. Inhale, firm that belly up, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend knees, plant hands. Inhale, step back, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhales, back to down dog. Take a couple breaths here. Pedaling the heels out. While you're doing that, I'm going to put my hair up. Get it out of my face. All right, now we're going to start adding on to it. Next inhales, right leg rises. If you have it available in your practice, we can bend that knee and open the hip, stacking the right hip over the left. We're going to take some circles with that right knee. We're circling it in toward the midline. Take it nice and slow. Your circles might not be very big. Your circles might be right here. That's okay. Just do whatever you have available in your practice. We're just trying to bring some fluidity into that right hip this morning. Good. We'll extend that leg all the way up. We're going to shift forward. And we're going to step the right foot up to replace the right thumb. If you don't have the core strength to get it up there, that's okay. Drop it here. Use your hand. Grab it and pull it up there. Don't be afraid to do that. We're going to drop that back knee and untuck the toe. Good. Inhaling, arms all the way up. If you're feeling any pressure on your back knee, on your left knee, I've got a piece of grass in my mouth. It could be because your stance is a little bit too short. So if I'm here, my whole body weight is going to be on my knee. But if I take a little bit of a longer lunge, then I'm redistributing the weight into the front heel, and then you can gently press the back foot into the mat, and that'll lift up off of the back knee. So if you're feeling a little bit of pressure on your back knee, see if you can take just a little bit of a longer lunge. Or you can take a blanket and put it underneath your back knee if you don't have the flexibility. Okay, so from here we'll inhale, arms rise in Anjaneyasana. Shoulders out of the ears, opening the heart. Finding that breath. On that next exhalation, we're going to bring the hands behind. We're going to clasp the hands together and open the heart. Make sure that we're not holding our breath here. Good. We'll release the hands. We're going to keep that right hand behind. Left arm's going to come up. We're lengthening through the left side body now. On that next exhalation, left elbow is going to come outside of the right knee. I did that so I could scratch my nose. Palms plant. Inhale for lengthen the spine, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, push to gently take a twist. Again, make sure that you're breathing. If you're holding your breath, you're actually making it harder on yourself. Good. Releasing the hands all the way back up. On that exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. We'll tuck the back toe to protect the knee. And we're just going to shift back, pulling the right toes back towards the face. So try to get a complete dorsiflexion of the foot here, pulling the toes all the way back, pressing through the heel and the arch. We're going to shift forward and back. So here we're lengthening that right hamstring and then relieving it and pressing into the left hip flexors. Okay. At home, if you have limited mobility, you can use a block if you have a block. If not, you can use, I've seen people use cinder blocks. You could use the jumbo can of soup, whatever you have. And that'll give you just a little bit more space on each side. Whatever you're using, though, make sure that it's firm and it's not going to slip out of your hand or topple over. And you can just shift forward and back. We're moving nice and slow. And on this next one, this time we're going to hold it back. Okay? So again, make sure that we're dorsiflexing the right foot, pulling the toes all the way back. We're going to draw that right hip back. It naturally wants to shift forward a little bit, so we're going to draw that hip back, send that tailbone up. Remember the pelvic bowl that we talked about earlier? Try to imagine that the pelvis is a bowl and we're tipping it forward. So that's going to send the tailbone back and up. Finding that breath here. Use these moments that we're holding the postures a little bit longer. Use those moments to try to work on your breath. The breath is probably the most important part of the practice. If you're holding your breath, then you're not properly oxygenating the muscle fibers or the tissue to be receiving any benefits from the practice. Just a couple more breaths here. And when we're doing the half split, we want to make sure that the hips are over the knee. We don't want to be sitting too far back here because we're not actually doing anything. Whenever we're there, we want to be in a half split. Next inhalation, we're just going to shift forward again. Planting that left hand underneath the shoulder, untucking the back toe. When we've planted the left hand underneath the shoulder, we're going to press into the mat, really lengthening through that shoulder, activating through that shoulder, stacking right shoulder over left, finding a twist. Yogi's choice to stay right here if this is enough for you. If you'd like to take it a little bit farther, we can bend the back knee and make the bind. If you have a strap, you can also use a strap. We want to watch the right knee because the right knee is going to have a tendency to try to fall out. Let's try to keep it in line with the hip. We'll slowly release, bringing that right hand back in line. And then we're going to pivot on the heel, on the right heel, and turn the toe 45. Okay? And then we're going to bring that heel back in line. We're just heel toeing the foot out towards the edge of the mat. So once we get towards the edge of the mat, we're going to pivot 45 on the heel and turn the toe 45. We're going to lift up slightly through the pelvis to open up the hip and then drop down so that we can square the chest to the front and preparing for a lizard pose, Uttan Prasthasana. If you're using blocks at home, you can place a block in front if you need a little bit more space here in that right hip, and then you can place the hands on a block. Remember that your blocks give you 3 levels. So there are 3 ways that you can use your blocks to achieve 3 different levels of assistance with your blocks. So make sure to play around with those and see which one works best. So from here, yogi's choice to stay on the hands, or if you have it available in your practice, we can come down to the forearms in the full expression of lizard pose. And those following at home, make sure that you listen to your body. We don't want to force your body to do anything that it doesn't feel like doing this morning. And I want you guys to remember that the body always ebbs and flows as well. So what you were able to do yesterday or last week, you might not be able to do today, and that's okay. Just listen to what your body's trying to tell you and honor where you are in your practice. We'll slowly make our way back up. We're going to heel toe that foot back in line with the hip. Oh, there's the sun. We'll tuck the back toe, planting the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll gently rise up. We're going to drop that right foot to the left wrist, right knee to the right wrist, coming into our pigeon pose. So if you have a knee issue on the right knee, you can always modify this one by doing it on the back, which would look like this, okay? Or you can come into a figure 4 stretch. This is your choice. If it feels a little bit too tight on your knee or on your hip, or if you don't have a block at home to place underneath the hip here, there's always a modification. So we want the right knee to be outside of the hip line, which means that if our hips are square to the front and everything's square to the front, we want that knee to be on the outside. That's going to help us open up that hip a little bit more. Then from here, dropping through the pelvis, lifting through the chest. Yogi's choice to stay here, or we can bring it down to the forearms. We'll be here for just a few breaths. I love the nature sounds. We'll slowly begin to make our way back up. We'll plant the hands. We're going to tuck that back toe, slide that knee up just a little bit, and tuck it again. And release that right leg. We're just going to press it back. Left knee is down on the mat. All right. Bringing that foot back in. Coming into our tabletop position. Fingertips are spread wide, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. On the inhale, we're going to drop the belly down, gaze up. Exhale, round the spine. Remember, we're doing this nice and slow, protecting the spine. Just a couple more. Last exhalation. Bringing the spine back to neutral, walking the hands forward just slightly, and then tucking the toes. Coming back into our downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedaling the heels. Bending the knees, take a gaze between the hands. We'll go ahead and step up, feet hip width, toes are forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands Namaskar. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, palms to the sky, fingers interlaced. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears, from the belly up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive, flat back. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees. Inhale, got an itch. stepping the feet back, high plank, fingertips spread wide, shoulders stacked over the wrists. Shift forward, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. When we're moving through the chaturanga, if you need to drop a knee or drop two knees, you can. We want to make sure that we're actually bending the elbows, and if you need to drop a knee or two to get there, you can. Tucking the toes, exhales back to down dog. Bending the knees, take a gaze between the hands, step the feet up. Hip width, inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Namaskar. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, palms to the sky. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears, from the belly. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Inhale, step feet back, high plank. Exhale, shift forward. Drop a knee, or drop two knees if you need to. Chaturanga. Cobra. Tucking the toes, sending it back. We'll inhale the left leg to the sky. If you have it available in your practice, we'll bend the knee, open the hip, stack the left hip over the right. If you want to bring a little bit mobility into your hip, we're going to circle that left knee in. And remember that your circle might be very small. It might not look like mine. That's okay. Try not to compare your practice to anybody else's practice. This is your practice. Yours is going to look different. And we'll extend that leg, shifting forward, stepping the foot up to replace the left thumb. If you can't get it all the way up there using the core, again, just grab that foot, send it all the way up. Drop back knee, untuck the toe. We want to make sure here that our stance is going to be hip width. So make sure that the left leg's in line with the hip and that your right leg is also in line with your hip. And again, remember, if you have any pressure on your right knee or your back knee, just see if you can take a little bit longer of a stance. Using the core, inhale, arms rise. Finding the breath. Next exhalation, we'll bring the hands behind, interlacing the fingers and opening the heart. Now that the right side of the body is lengthened because our right hip is an extension, right? We're going to leave the left hand down and we're going to continue to lengthen through the right side of the body. Inhale, right arm rises. We'll gaze over the left shoulder. On the next exhalation, that right elbow is going to come outside of the left knee. Palms will plant together. Inhale for length, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, push to twist. We'll slowly bring it back to center. Planting the hands on either side of that left knee. We'll tuck the back toe to protect that back knee. And begin to shift back into our half split. Remember here that we don't want to sit all the way back because that doesn't really do a lot. So we want to try to make sure that the hips stay hovering over the knee. Try to square the hips to the front and then remember to pull those toes back towards the face. Shoulders away from the ears. And again, if you have it available in your practice, we want to try to roll the pelvis forward, which would be, remember, if the pelvis is a bowl, we're going to try to tip it forward. We're going to find a little bit of dynamic movement here, so we're going to shift forward and back. Moving nice and slow at your own pace. You don't have to try to match my pace. Do whatever feels good in your body this morning. Of course, you don't want to be moving too fast, but I don't know that there's such thing as moving too slow. Just a couple more. This time we're going to hold it for just a few breaths. So take these few moments to bring some awareness into your posture. Are you rounding through the back? Let's try to flatten the back out a little bit. Are you tucking the pelvis under? Let's try to extend that tailbone back and up. And then if your left hip is drawing forward, we're going to try to pull that back a little bit and then pull the toes back. Next inhalation, we're going to shift forward, untuck the back toe, planting that right hand underneath the shoulder. We're going to press into that right shoulder. So we're really pressing the mat away from the body. So you can see my shoulder begin to activate. Stacking the left shoulder over the right, we'll find a twist. From here, you can stay here if you feel like this is enough for you, or if you'd like to take it a little bit further, we can bend the back knee and make the bind, pulling that heel in close. If you can't make the bind, that's okay. You can just stay in the twist. But wherever you are, make sure that we're not lifting up through that right hip to try to avoid the actual stretch that we're supposed to be getting. So make sure that we're dropping that right hip down. We'll slowly release. And we're going to bring the left hand inside of that left knee this time. Let's heel toe that foot out towards the edge of the mat, and then we're going to pivot on the left heel, turning the toe 45. So from here, we're going to have to lift up just a little bit to the pelvis so that we can open that hip up and then drop back down. And again, if you have blocks at home, you can bring your blocks underneath your hands if you need a little bit more space. You could actually even come to the finger pads, give you just a little bit more space. Let's try to keep the shoulders out of the ears, heart forward. Preparing for our lizard pose. Remember to breathe. Let's not hold our breath. I was reading an article the other day, and it was talking about how often people breath hold unconsciously. And there's actually a condition now called email apnea, where people who sit at their computers and read emails all day are so stressed out that they actually hold their breath, and it gives them respiratory issues. It's wild, right? So let's not hold our breath. So yogi's choice to stay right here Or if you want to take it a little bit further and amplify it, you can come into the full expression of lizard pose, Uttanapishtasana. Elbows can come to the mat. If you're using your blocks again, you can bring your elbows to the blocks. And remember, the blocks give you 3 different levels. You can place them flat, you can bring them on their sides, or you can place them vertically. Just a couple more breaths. We'll slowly make our way back up to the hands. We're going to heel toe that foot back in line with the hip. We'll tuck the back toe, and we're just going to slide that knee up just a little bit. And then tuck the toe again so that we can lift the knee up, engage the core. We're going to drop the left shin down. So left toe to the right wrist, left knee to the left wrist. Let's take a gaze behind, make sure that our foot and ankle and leg are in line with the hip. We can tuck the toe and slide that leg back a little bit to deepen into the posture. And again, if you have mobility issues at home, you can modify this by doing the figure 4 stretch, or you can lie on your back and do the same exact thing. Dropping through the pelvis, lifting through the chest, shoulders out of the ears. Finding the breath. You can stay on the hands, or we can slowly begin to bring it down to the forearms. I'm trying not to kill the bugs because ahimsa. Just a couple more breaths. Try to make them really count. Try to elongate and control the breath on the inhale and the exhale. Next inhalation, we'll make the way up to the hands. Tucking the back toe, we're going to slide that knee up just a little bit. Keeping the toe tucked, we'll send that left leg back. We're just going to straighten it out. Let the blood flow come back into it. And we'll bring it back into a tabletop position. Inhale, dropping the belly down. Exhale, rounding the spine, really puffing up through the shoulders. Finding that flow at your own pace. You guys are doing great. We're almost done. We'll bring it back to a neutral spine. Walking the hands forward just slightly, tuck the toes, pressing back into our down dog once more. Bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands, step the feet up, hip width, inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, palms to the sky. Inhale, firm the belly up, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, top lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, stepping the feet back into our high plank. Keeping the core engaged, shift forward, elbows are in as we lower chaturanga. Drop the knees if you need to. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhales, back to down dog. We're gonna do that just one more time. Bend the knees, take a gaze between the hands. Step or walk the feet up, hip width. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. The neighborhood is waking up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms to the sky. Inhale from the belly up, shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the feet back. Shift forward, drop the knees if you need to, chaturanga. Elbows are in, close to the ribs. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And then this time, we're just going to cross the ankles and sit back. So we're gonna come all the way onto the back. Drawing the knees in. We're just gonna take some small circles, massaging the sacrum into the mat. We'll take it the opposite direction. And we're gonna drop the heels down and cross the right knee over the left, just like we're sitting at the table and we're cross-legged, right? And then we're gonna lift the hips up and move them over to the right just slightly, bring the arms out to the sides, and we're gonna allow the legs to fall over to the left. We're gonna gaze over the right shoulder. You can use your left hand to adjust the right hip if you need. We'll slowly bring it back to center. Let's realign the hips back in line with the spine and the shoulders. I'm just gonna draw that knee in toward the chest, extend the left leg. Let's take some intuitive movement in that hip. Just gonna roll it around. Whatever feels nice. Maybe take some circles or just take it side to side. And then from here, we can either bring peace fingers to the big toe and extend the leg, or if you don't have the mobility, we can bring the hands to interlace behind the thigh and extend the leg, or behind the calf, behind the ankle. Otherwise, peace fingers to the big toe. We're just gonna lift the leg, try to work it into an extension, pulling the toes back towards the face. And yogi's choice to stay here will slowly allow that leg to open up all the way to the right side. If you're using a strap at home, just place it around the ball of the foot. If you're not using a strap or your fingers are not able to come all the way to the toes, you can just bring your hand to the outside of the leg and support it as it comes out to the side. And slowly bring it back to center, bringing that knee in. And we'll drop the right heel down. This time the left knee is going to cross over the right. Lifting the hips up, moving them over to the left, arms come out to the sides. We're going to allow the legs to fall over to the right this time. Gaze over the left shoulder. You can use the right hand to adjust the hip. Slowly bringing it back to center. Realigning the hips with the spine and the shoulders. Extending the right leg this time, left leg comes in. So again, we can interlace the fingers around the back of the thigh and begin to straighten the leg, or the back of the calf, the ankle, or peace fingers to the big toe. Wherever you are, let's try to relax the shoulders back into the mat. And then we'll slowly begin to open it up to the side. If you're using a strap at home, remember just keep it on the ball of the foot. You can hold it in close. If you're not using a strap, you can just support the side of the leg with the arm as it begins to lower, or if you're bringing the peace fingers to the big toe, just slowly open it up to the side. Gently bring it back to center. Bending both knees. Drawing them into the chest. Squeeze tight, give yourself a really big hug. You guys did great today. Fill the lungs all the way up. And on the exhale, we'll extend the legs out. Feet fall out in relaxation. Arms by the sides, palms up in a gesture to receive. Rooting down through the hips to the shoulders, eyes are closed. Relax the muscles in the face, maybe even soften the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. With each exhalation, the body melts deeper into the mat, and we're in our final resting pose for our practice today. This is called Shavasana or corpse pose. It's a time for reflection and to integrate everything that you moved during your practice, allowing it to integrate into your body and into your reality now. So feel free to take however long of a Shavasana you want for the rest of us. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. My name is Dannica. Some of you may know me as Danny Coyote. And if you'd like to support my yoga or my artistic endeavors, my Patreon is patreon.com/Danny Coyote. Thank you. Namaste.